I'm gonna wait.
Hold it in. Hold it in.
Tom, hey. Hey. Yeah, we were just talking about the guy on the jetpack in Austria. What
Mhm.
my favorite, nobody likes to see somebody absolutely eat it into the gravel. Okay, we're gonna just go ahead and start with that.
Well,
But as long as he's okay, glad he's okay, glad he was fine. The
it's
biggest
pretty
part for me was
funny.
I was like, the two thoughts I had were the debris that was going off of the jetpack. All I could think of, and then like our Formula One minds, all I could think of was, how much is that going to cost them? How much is that going to cost them to fix that jetpack? And then my second thought was when it cut to Oscar Piastri and he gave his like unfiltered reaction. I was like, how is this not a million memes? Like, how have we not seen a million memes with Oscar's face about the track limits? Like, that was such a layup. I was shocked we didn't see it.
He has started using that face himself to react to things.
I love it.
I've
I
seen
love
him
it so
post at least
much.
2 times with it, I think. Like,
I love it
so good. But also,
much.
that jetpack looked like it was made in Back to the Future in somebody's garage.
A little bit. The color choice was an interesting color choice. I said, why did we go with poop brown? Whose choice was that?
It looked like it was made from like scrap parts from scrapyard.
A
I don't-
little
it's just-
bit.
I kind of expect whenever it's Red Bull associated something that it's going to be emblazoned just with all of the Red Bull like stickers and
True.
branding everywhere.
True.
'Cause
That's a
I'm
really
sorry,
good
but they
point.
put every single time that they have Red Bull and AlphaTauri do something with each other, they like custom wrap all of those
Yeah.
vehicles, custom wrap the mini boats,
Marketing.
they custom wrap the
Marketing.
big things. I guess they knew that it was going to tank. That's my guess. Is they knew but it was too
Maybe
late,
they were
and
like, we don't
take the
want
stickers
our
off.
name on this. Well,
Oh.
here's the thing. Like the Americans get a bad
Speaking of-
rap for like the pre-race extravaganzas, but I'm like, why are we not pointing out the faceplant jetpack? That's the biggest fail of an intro I think we've seen all season. But all
like at
jokes
least
aside,
the American ones, like they go well. At least
we're successful in it. Okay, we're extra, but
Go
we're
big or go
successfully
home.
extra.
Hold on.
It's
Apparently, do you know what he was doing when he fell?
He was trying to land.
No, he was sent out to complete a lap of the circuit through the air, and then at turn 9 lost it.
It looked like he was
Okay.
trying to land, and then it just like a gust of wind or something just like sent him. I was worried for him.
And he also had this weird
On his
rod sticking off of out of his waistband. I don't know if that was a 360 camera or something.
Could have been.
But
They do like those at Red Bull.
yeah.
Yeah, they do. Well, let's discuss the race. Let's discuss it.
Let's start with the sprint.
Oh yeah, jeez. Like
honestly,
because of waking up in the middle of the night and then going back to sleep and then waking up again to watch everything this weekend in 2 parts, it's such a fever dream. Like the sprint race felt like it happened over 2 days for me instead of the one. Because I slept in between.
Yeah, I feel like everybody took the sprint race pretty seriously. And
what was he doing?
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion a little bit, but I think that the sprint the sprint race, it mattered more. Yeah, like he has a point. It mattered more when it was deciding the grid lineup for the next day. But he does kind of have a point. That like it really only matters for the top finishers.
I was going to say with the amount of points that he has, shouldn't the sprint race matter more to him?
I mean, you would think, but then based on his radio calls on Sunday, I think he just didn't want to be in Austria anymore. I think he just didn't want to be there anymore. He just wanted to go home. He was not having it.
Yeah, he wants a good juju that he gets at Silverstone. Like that
honestly, it's amazing. It's amazing watching him at Silverstone. But yeah, I will say, got a little bit hopeful, like all of us Ferrari fans did, when Leclerc was super close in that qualifying lap to decide for Sunday. And then Max pulled away in the sprint race. And I said, well, hope destroyed. Immediately
There
destroyed.
he goes.
Immediately
Oh.
destroyed.
Well, you
But
had
you know who was
Nico.
really destroyed? What?
So you had Nico up in P2 for a bit of it,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean the changing conditions alone, I think, made this the best sprint race I've seen because relay races. What if
Ooh,
for a
that's
sprint
right.
race you have to do, each driver has to do at least 40%, and you have to like one driver comes in, the other driver goes out, just hand off the baton and go, and that's your sprint race.
Mm-hmm.
And the team gets
What
the
did we say
points.
that we would decide for points on that? Would you just split the points?
I don't even remember if we discussed that part, but
Yeah.
I'm just like the fact that it was
Alright,
changeable
so good.
conditions and they had the pit and there was now some uncertainty for the second half of the that. Yeah, that made it almost changed my
I
mind.
think this track also uniquely works for sprint races because it is so short.
True.
So you still get the drivers, and even for the main race, for the Grand Prix, in whatever number of laps you have, you're getting to go through those good overtaking zones more often than you would at a super long track.
Mhm.
You just get to stay in those places more often and see them, which is phenomenal.
As long as
What?
you stay within the track limits, that is.
Oh my gosh. Like I was crying that whole
It was so
every single
painful.
message that came up. I was just like, oh gosh.
It was so painful.
So
And like
bad.
when they were qualifying on Friday, I had the thought, I was like, I can't trust. It became a weekend of just not being able to trust anything. Like you can't trust anything because next thing you know, it's getting deleted. And I don't know. Not that I'm skipping ahead of the Grand Prix essentially, but the justice part of me was kind of grateful that they went and like, even though it hurt some drivers a lot more than others, I was like, if you're gonna hold fast to the rule, you gotta hold it to everybody. And there was so much policing happening, and I don't know. It got a little. I felt like it got a little
Tattling.
sassy out there on the radio. It got a little
Oh,
sassy.
100% got really sassy. But my favorite thing that was said over the weekend, I don't remember if it was an F1, F2, or F3, but one of the commentators was just like, what am I supposed to talk about if I can't talk about the lap time? It's like,
Seriously.
what the heck? This
We're
is
talking
what
about
they
lap
paid
time,
me
and then it's like,
for.
oh, they don't get the lap time anymore. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. True story.
And
true
half the
story.
time, the commentators would get information before it was updated on the timing sheet. And so you'd be looking and listening at the same time, just being like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'll check in 20
Yeah.
minutes.
Let me check back in a little while. And then if it's still happening, then that's real. And you know who really lost this weekend? The biggest loser was Esteban Ocon. The poor man
Oh my
cannot
gosh.
catch a break. I feel like we started this season with the poor man getting destroyed by penalties, and it just hasn't let up. It's just continuing on.
Well, okay. In Bahrain, he matched for the most number of racing penalties got in a race. And now he doesn't share. Now he's all on his own.
He said, I want it.
For
I don't want to share.
himself.
He said, this might be the only P1 I get all year, but I'm going to get it.
Yeah, just so bad.
Yeah.
And the thing is, no.
Yeah, I've asked this question before, and it depends. Like you get penalty points added on for certain types of penalties that you're given that are
Yeah.
typically related to
So-
reckless driving. But this I don't think counts as having related to reckless driving.
It does not. And that was a revision from last year to this year of how they apply penalty points.
Mm-hmm.
It's only for the
Some would
dangerous
call it the
driving
Pierre
things.
Gasly addendum.
The Pierre Gasly effect. Yeah. It's well, and the number of penalties as well that Ocon and Gasly got, it was kind of just like, is it your car setup?
Honestly,
Like, are you guys? You're going downhill, okay?
You know
and
what they
already that
need?
changes
You know what they
the
need?
field of vision. It changes momentum. It's a whole thing.
yeah. You know what they need? Ryan Reynolds. That's what Alpine said. They said, you know what we need? We need Ryan Reynolds.
Honestly, I'm just envisioning Deadpool like going in with like a painter in the night beforehand and just repainting the line and being like, fixed it.
Honestly, I'm shocked that Esteban Ocon hasn't already made a Deadpool helmet, like a special helmet, because he's a big, like, superhero fan. Like, he likes following all the and Deadpool's technically Marvel, right? Because he's a big Marvel guy. Yeah.
He is. It is
I'm
marvelous.
surprised he hasn't done like a Deadpool helmet design yet, but he's he likes Spider-Man.
It's probably coming, but
It's
just
definitely
like
coming.
for the right opportunity.
Totally.
Because the helmets take time to make, and something like that would take time to paint.
That's true. That's true.
So I think it's coming. Just when.
Mm.
But I would like for him and Pierre to do the matching helmets of like one of them do Deadpool and then one of them do the other characters or something like that. Or just like both have Ryan Reynolds themed helmets at the same time.
One does
Like-
Turbo, has this Turbo snail that he did.
Yeah, I like the snail idea. Like the race car. Or do that like really stupid, obscure one, like The Proposal or
Oh
Free
my
Guy,
gosh.
like something absolutely ridiculous.
Or like
Just
Red
Ryan
Notice
and
that he
Sandra
just did
Bullock.
with Gal Gadot.
That was so good.
I love that movie. That was a good movie.
So
Okay.
good.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Red
Yeah.
Notice was on Netflix. It was really good. It has Dwayne the Rock
Mhm.
Johnson, Gal Gadot, my girl, and Ryan
And they're
Reynolds.
making a sequel, I think.
I'm glad they are because it was really good. But back to the Grand Prix.
Anyway.
Anyways, Austria. Yeah, let's see. Oh, hot question. Hot take. Should Ferrari have let Carlos pass Charles?
Yes.
I think so too. I think so too. I think
100%.
so too. I think so too.
100%.
I was watching and I was like, why? Why in the world are we letting that gap widen when when Carlos is right on his tail and has the pace?
Yeah. And it's also true that like his numbers were bolstered by the fact that he was getting a slipstream and DRS a lot of the
Sure.
time. But I trust Carlos knowing his strategy better than those engineers. And if he says my call is the right call, I'm going to trust that more than I'm going to trust just that like omnipresent voice on the radio being like, no, please hold. It's like, no, don't hold. The man knows what
Press
he's
the gas.
talking about. Step on the gas.
Yeah, honestly
Like-
though, I could be wrong in this, but I have yet to see in my limited memory, I have yet to see Carlos make a strategy call that was wrong. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm
Yeah.
thinking back to Silverstone last year when my favorite quote of his came to light of stop inventing when they tried to get him to do something and he said no. And then what did he do? He went on to win the race.
Yeah.
So
He
yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I would like you ask yourself with all of the bad luck that's befallen Charles all year, all season, are they still prioritizing him even now?
I think so.
Why?
Habits? They're a team of bad habits.
Is so true.
Like
When they don't let Carlos pass him. Carlos has asked many times over the course of the season, I have the pace, I'm faster, let me pass. And they've never let him pass him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That could be the case, but you're telling me that Carlos is never faster than Charles on any of the circuits?
yeah.
I don't know about that. Charles can pull up a qualifying lap. I know that he can pull out a qualifying lap that blazes past everybody but Max Verstappen. He can really pull out that one lap. But race pace is something that the man really struggles with.
And we heard it over the radio as well, them talking about how Charles's tires were degrading faster than they expected, which
Yeah.
means he's losing pace. And that's the other quote that kind of makes me go, yeah, Carlos potentially was faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And also you if they switched the one time and then like it turns out that they were still evenly matched for pace.
This was your back.
Okay.
It's like a really easy fix. It's a super easy fix.
Yeah, and especially when it was that far ahead in the race, there was like so much time still to go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. At the end of the day, it comes back to me trusting Carlos more than I trust the Ferraris on these strategy calls, and
I agree with that. I do. We're aligned.
yeah.
All right.
He's
Well,
in the car. He
McLaren
feels
really
it.
seems to be stepping it up with some updates,
Oh my
some
gosh!
upgrades.
Thank goodness.
I think we're all grateful.
That was so painful to watch. Like Lando's little face after every single weekend, just watching the light slowly die, and it's just like, I
Yeah.
can't look at this orange anymore.
Yeah.
No. I'm very grateful that he was like posting his happy little selfie, just being like, yeah, 5th. Never mind, 4th.
So sweet at the expense of Carlos.
So good.
But yeah,
Hurts,
Justice is
but
justice.
you know, you take the joy where you can find it.
that's right. You do. It's funny though. I thought a lot of times, you ever have those moments in your life where you're watching something, you're like, I think I'm the only one that thinks this. And then you come to find out, oh no, a lot of people are also thinking the same thing. I put on my story or whatever when Lando did his little 5 thing. I was like, all I can see is when girls announce that they're engaged. It looked just like those photos that girls do when they're like, I'm engaged. And I was like, surely I'm the only person that's thinking this. And like literally everyone was like, you're not alone. I thought the same thing. And that was like another moment where I'm like, whoever's making these memes, come on, people, step it up. You can totally put something in there and make it funny. Come on, people.
The ring, the perfect manicured fingers as well. Yes. That's the other thing that needs to be added is like the perfect little French classic cut nails.
I'm dead.
And then there you go, engaged. Yeah. It has to be a classic manicure so that way it is timeless and can be framed and placed in the family home.
Also, real question, because he took the photo. Okay, so the other thing I do is I sometimes think through like what was their process, right? So he got the news, he was in his car, you know, was excited, P5, whatever. Did he take the photos of the 4? Because he's wearing the same clothes, he's in the car, in the same spot, the lighting looks pretty similar. Or did he go back into his car after they had decided and then was like, all right, I got to update this? You know what I mean? What do we think?
Honestly,
Photoshop.
My guess is that he was in a generic car going to the airport, was on a plane, and then was loaded back into another generic car and took the second picture.
It looked like
that would
the
be
same
my
car,
guess.
though.
But they get chauffeured around in generic cars all the time. True. Like, that's the thing. I think that they're just a lot of the time in painfully generic shuttles.
True. With good reason.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Tom Glover of the Old Art House is asking,
hey, Tom.
Do you like the new McLaren livery?
Okay, I'm glad we're going to talk about it.
She's pretty.
Yeah.
She's shiny.
Yeah.
Is it shiny? Is it? Because it looks
shiny.
A little graphite matte gray.
The only way to know is to see it in the daylight on track.
True. Because they did take pictures of it like in the shade underneath the McLaren entryway.
And like weird lighting, so.
Mm-hmm. I do like the new race suits, though, that they're doing for them. I thought those are super cool.
Those look sharp.
I thought they were really cool. I think it was a nice nod to the days of old. But I think Zach Brown was quoted saying, like, they want to keep the papaya there because that's what they're, like, building the brand around is, like, they want to have their iconic color. And I get that.
It's one race.
I know.
It's not going to wreck your brand image from one race. Come on, Zach. Yeah. But also, I like being able to see the papaya and know which cars it is. So I'm kind of with him on that. Like, I know to look for the papaya, and that's what I do it in IndyCar. I do it in Formula E. I do it here. I do appreciate the bright papaya. More teams should have obnoxiously bright, iconic colors like that.
True. Well, all I'm grateful for is that whoever designed the livery had enough forethought for the front wing to be chrome and have Google Chrome on it. I said, thank you for noticing that opportunity, because if you put it on a papaya part, you would have been roasted. So,
yeah.
But I'm sure Tom has more of a like artistic eye than I do, so I'm sure his opinions are better than mine on the way the colors could have gone. But I liked it. It was nice.
Yeah. It's shiny. No complaints.
Okay. Valid question. Because last year at Monza, we saw Ferrari introduce the like yellow kit and things.
They're so bad.
Well, here's the question. Do you think they would ever do like what McLaren has done with like a chrome, like a half and half kind of chrome papaya thing. Do you think Ferrari would ever do like a mostly yellow with red accents? Could you imagine?
I think that would look very cool, as long as they don't put their drivers again in the minion suits.
Well,
That is that was
looks
the one
good.
thing.
Really? Okay.
the black,
so
the black
memeable.
fireproofs were cool though. I like the black fireproofs.
Black fireproofs, love those.
Clean.
Love those to bits. But
Bits.
I just need these teams to have somebody from each major demographic who is chronically online to tell them this is the meme that is going to be made. Can you live with that? They need to have a meme panel, which I would love to sit on, for one, because that'd be hilarious.
Absolutely.
For two, because why not?
Absolutely. Can you imagine if all the teams had a meme panel and that they could have weekly meetings with the social media admin? It would elevate their social media game so much. Formula One, if you're
So
listening,
good.
our applications are open.
Okay,
Our inboxes
but
are
also,
open.
still tangent, but actually Formula One related, AlphaTauri is getting renamed.
Yes.
Like, renamed, new sponsor, yada, yada, yada. And not selfish, but like, my mind kind of goes to like all these special yellow edition, blue edition cans that they have. And it makes me wish they just called it something like that, where it just sounds like a Red Bull flavor. And that's their second team. It's just
I think
the
that
yellow
would be cool.
edition,
I'd call it Baby Bull.
the slower edition.
Kind of an ode to Christian Horner's wife. Because she was Ginger Spice
The
and there was Baby
Spice-mobile.
Spice. Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to them bringing yellow back to the grid, I gotta say.
Yeah.
So spottable.
Honestly, yeah.
And
Well,
bring
what
back
other-
Pink
what other-
Alpine.
How long do we think Yuki is going to be at AlphaTauri, honestly?
I think, okay, this is my trajectory plan for him, okay?
Oh, okay.
I
Does he know this is
I'm
your plan?
planning. I will send him a strong worded tweet one day, maybe. We'll see. He's not on Twitter. Never mind. But, okay, I don't think Checo's coming back next year. I think he's pretty cooked. So, that seat is going to be open. And option A, they're going to want Danny Rick. But that's entirely dependent on how his tire test goes. If they see, okay, you're back in a good headspace, we tuned you up a little bit, you're good to go, that will be their first choice. I think, though, if Danny Rick isn't ready, they're going to be like, Yuki, you are ready enough, so we're going to, like, slot you in there. Especially because with Max being so dominant, it can take the time to, like, bring Yuki in, get adjusted to a new team, and not lose out on major championship points still. Like, he's in a good enough spot to do not as good as Checo, I think, right now, but better, or at least as good as Checo is now, not as good as Checo has been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So Yuki spends, like, in an ideal situation, maybe a year or two at Red Bull, or at least there until Aston Martin's Honda partnership comes into play in 2026. And then Yuki jumps over there because they've made it known that they want Yuki. They have put time and energy into developing and paying for Yuki. Yeah.
Aston Martin has?
Like Honda.
Oh, no, Honda has.
Yeah, Honda.
Yeah, that
Honda.
makes sense.
So Honda wants Yuki. Yuki is their driver. That is why he's in the AlphaTauri seat, is because of that prior relationship.
Yeah.
So if they can, Honda's going to want to snatch Yuki.
That makes sense.
Long-term plan, I think he's going to end up at Aston Martin. Short-term plan, I could see him in Red Bull seat.
Could you imagine if he ends up at Aston Martin with Charles Leclerc? I feel like that would be the craziest like driver pairing I've ever seen. That would be so
painfully chaotic.
Crazy. That'd be so
Neither of them have any clue what's going on.
I know. The other thought that I had was if I was Red Bull, I would want Alex Albon. And I don't know what his current contract standing is with Williams or when it's up, but
yeah,
I would want Alex Albon, and I want him today because he is driving the crap out of that Williams. It's ridiculous.
Yes. No, he's doing a phenomenal job, but he has vocally said on multiple occasions, like, no, I'm in where I am.
Yeah.
And this is fantastic. And the way that he and James Vowles talk about each other and sound like such a good cohesive team, I'm honestly here for it. I'm just really enjoying seeing the development of Williams.
I want him to say it Williams, but if I was Red Bull, I would be like, the one that I want is Alex.
You're the one that I
I
want.
like that one.
Yeah, the one that I want. Well, let's see. What else happened? What else happened in yesterday?
What teams haven't we talked about? Haas?
I know. Well, oh my gosh. The penalty that they gave to him, I'm dead.
Is off track. I mean,
I'm dead.
he
That is
is.
the definition of beating a dead horse. That is literally the direct translation to beating a dead horse. Like, why?
just so funny.
What was the penalty? Which one are we
They
talking
gave him a
about?
Off-track
track limits
limits.
penalty when he
But he was
went
already
off
retired.
when he retired.
See, that's their. I feel like that is their way of saying, "Fine, you want us to like keep an eye on every tire, it goes over every line, we will."
Yeah. Which I like, a part of me is like, justice, good, but also like, come on. You're going to give him that one, but you're going to miss all these other ones from poor Esteban Ocon.
Did you see?
That's my big thing.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And Alex Albon said this in an interview, was that he was starting to get notified about infractions that had happened 15 laps ago. And so
Ooh.
it wasn't even like, okay, you're getting track limits. You need to be more aware and be more cautious and slow down a bit more for turn 9 and 10. But you were getting that notification of be careful too late after you had already stacked up all the infractions. You were just being delayed in being told about it, which in my mind is kind of the shittier part. Because, yeah, what is the point of a warning if you can't fix the behavior?
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, it's like, it annoys me that there genuinely isn't a time restraint on the FIA calling out these penalties.
That's a good point. That's
Like
a really good
that
point.
there's no statute of limitations, because there is for teams asking for right of review and to challenge certain penalties and all that, but there isn't a limit on what the FIA can do. And it's kind of like, okay, if you're going to want to be giving out these penalties in a timely manner, you actually have to have the systems in place to monitor everything. And good on them this year for actually increasing the number of people that they had monitoring this.
Totally.
But it still was not enough. They still need to do more, especially at this track. Like,
Totally.
nah, this is still on them for creating kind of this chaos.
Well, speaking of poor communication, did you guys read the brief from when Charles was given his 3-place grid penalty for the sprint race? So, was that you did?
I haven't, no.
No.
Oh, okay. It's so funny because they basically were like, well, car number 16 impeded car number 81 during whatever, and therefore will be given a 3-place grid penalty. The team representative for car 16, aka Ferrari person, came in and openly acknowledged that they did not let Charles know in time to move. They did not let. They were like, yeah, we didn't tell Charles that Austria was behind him and was on a flying lap and that he needed to move for him. And they were like, and so even though in the briefing it says, even though the fault lies with the representative, there will still be a penalty given to car 16. I was like, not that you're shanking him for the mistake of someone else. This is ridiculous.
Like, it's viewers at home can tell you where all the cars on track are.
Seriously.
How can you, as a team with a butt ton of resources, money, and people, how can you not?
Seriously.
This is embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is like you a dunce cap, put you in the corner of shame
Yeah.
level of bad.
Honestly, they need to hire like one person, and that one person's only job is to watch where everybody is and to let them know.
And Haas does it with only 3 seats at the pit wall.
Yeah. They don't have to be on the pit wall. They get to watch the regular broadcast like the rest of us, and they would still have enough information to stop some of these problems.
You hear that, viewers? You at home can help. Call Ferrari today. Put in your resume.
I'm not saying that this is an existing job opening, but it should be, along with the meme panel. The Formula One meme panel. I love it.
Good.
I love it.
So
yeah, I
that's
think,
Williams, Alfa Romeo. They had a bad weekend.
you know, Zhou
Right?
Guan Yu did not have any track limit warnings or penalties. He was perfect.
Yeah.
The whole
Him,
weekend.
Alonso, and Russell.
Yeah. Shout out to Joe. Good job, guys. Good job, guys.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to remember who else exists in this world. I think
Logan
we talked
actually
about
had a
everyone,
pretty
though.
good finish. All
Oh
things
yeah, he was like
considered.
12, 13, something like
Yeah,
that.
13. He finished P13. All things considered. I said that is a definite improvement. Go Logan.
Yes.
Was that after the
Improvement to
penalty
his-
timing shake?
Oh yeah. I don't
Okay.
really know that the
Yeah.
penalty timings really affected him all that much.
Okay.
It affected 14 out of 19 cars,
Yeah. Yeah.
but not the top 3.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that convenient? My favorite was when the engineer told Lando after Lando overtook Lewis, where he told him, because he basically was kindly telling him, like, Lewis will now be policing you. You cannot play with these track limits. There is no margin. There is zero room for error. That
But
don't
see, that's what you
don't
have
mess
to
this up.
do.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what you have to do as a
good
race engineer.
communication. That is what
Like-
good communication looks like.
Keep your eye on the driver. Have a code word for track limits if you think that there's something that they might notice, but you don't want to like tip them off to. But like, watch like a
Totally.
hawk. Be the driver's other eyes. Like,
Totally. And Lando's the guy that kind of started it because he called out Lewis early on in the race.
So sassy.
Yes, he did. But I was also kind of like, look, good for you, Lando. Like, if they were going to make it such a big deal during qualifying, I'd be like, well, then y'all better make it a big deal all weekend if you're going to make it a big deal during qualifying.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
but I'm becoming a pretty big fan of some of Max's like race radios towards the end of the race when he's like
So
just
good.
clearly got it in the bag and we just get unfiltered Max and it really is fun. It really is fun.
Like him just being like, I'm going for fastest lap. Am I going for fastest lap? We're not going for fastest lap. I'm going for fastest
Yeah.
lap.
Yeah.
Fine, we're going for fastest lap. And just
Yeah.
like if I was sitting in the garage, if I was one of those pit crew members just being like, for fudge sakes, Max, you're gonna make me get up out of this chair to get you 1 point. This year, out of all years where you're like, I'm sorry, but like you would have to, it is yours to lose. You would have to seriously screw the pooch in order to lose this one. You want me to get up for 1? Fine, whatever, fine.
Well, if 2021 taught him anything, it's that every point counts.
Ooh.
And on
It's true.
that note, folks, we are going to wrap it up here at Gravel Trap F1. Thank you guys for joining us for this live stream. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.